Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and this is going to be my April wrap-up part 2. I'm in a different place than usual because some construction and fixing of things is going on in my room because that's where our water pump is, and our water pump is broken. This is what my usual filming spot looks like right now. And I wanted to talk about briefly, you might be able to tell that this little vest is homemade. I found like 7 yards of fabric at a secondhand store for $6. 4 yards of this and 3 yards of this. So I made a vest and skirt combo and I'm very proud of it. I might put some footage of the full outfit in here, but onto the books. Let's start with the 2 oddballs out. We have another Yona of the Dawn manga, number 38. I read a slew of this back in March, and then this one wasn't available at my library yet because it's the most recent translated volume. So this one became available, so I got it right away, and I really enjoyed it. Then we have Crowned with Glory, which I just saw in Kara of Wild Book Garden's video about her favorite graphic novels, comics, and picture books. And this one was immediately available from my library. So it is a Christian book, but it is a lot about black girls' hair. And different ways to style it and how beautiful it is, and like the community that comes from black women styling each other's hair. And yeah, it was just really sweet. I really enjoyed it, and very pretty illustrations. Then for the disability readathon, I read Exactly Where You Need to Be by Amelia Diane Coombs. This one, the main character has OCD, and it is a bit of a romance, a bit of a best friend story, and a bit of a getting out from under your oppressive mother's thumb story. So this is about our main character and her best friend bonded over listening to a particular, what's called, true crime podcast, hosted by 2 women. And these women are putting on a live show down in San Francisco, and our 2 best friends live in northern Washington state. They win some tickets to go see the podcasters, but the main character's mother probably wouldn't let her go, certainly wouldn't let her go, because she is way overprotective, and thinks her daughter can't ever do anything because she has OCD. And so they plan a secret trip to go see the podcasters, and the main character's best friend's brother offers to drive them. And it's pretty obvious from the beginning that the reason he's agreed to drive them is because he has a crush on the main character, which the main character also has a crush on him, but she thinks that he doesn't like her, and lots of silly YA-ness, but very cute and very sweet. And I really love the little romance between them, and I also really love how important her best friend relationship is, and how it explored how OCD affects a person and is a big deal, but doesn't mean you can never accomplish anything. Yeah, I just had a really delightful time for the entire book. It was just fun at all the times that I wasn't like super angry at the mother of the main character. Then we have Self-Made Boys by Anne Marie McLemore for Trans Girl April. I think I said in my Instagram review that this overall is smack in the middle of my rankings of A.M. McLemore's work. So like it goes Wild Beauty, Blanca y Roja, this book, then Dark and Deepest Red, and then Lake Lore at the bottom. Not that I don't like Lake Lore and Dark and Deepest Red, I just like this one even better. So yeah, I really love all of those books, but they do definitely have a definite ranking in my mind. So this one, as you can tell from the cover, has lots of flowers involved, kind of like Wild Beauty, and I really like that aspect. This is about two trans boys in the 1920s finding each other, finding out that they're both trans and being friends because of that, and finding queer community with others in their surroundings, having lots of complicated feelings because a bit of miscommunication about which people are attracted to. But yeah, it's a romance between these two dorks. And yeah, I always love the lyrical prose of this author and the way they craft characters and complicated relationships and platonic love being a big theme as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. 5 stars. Remember in my last April wrap-up part 1, I said I was in a monster romance mood? Well, I finally decided that I would just go ahead and get Kindle Unlimited for at least a month, depending on how many they made me buy at once, so I could read some monster romances that I had seen recommended and knew were on KU. A few of which were also trans, so they would fit in with Trans Girl April. And Kindle KU is running a deal right now for new subscribers to get 2 months free, but when I went on there, for old subscribers, you get 2 months for $1. So I was very happy to get that deal, so now I don't have to read quite as many books to make it worth my while to pay the $20 for 2 months. So let's start with the trans one, which also has disability rep and is written by a disabled author for the Disability Readathon. So that is Mirror Monster on My Wall by Tam M. McNevin. This one is about 86 pages, and it is about an autistic black main character and her 1 cis and 3 trans monsters who come through a mirror and are her friends and also her lovers now. She kind of grew up with them, so they were her regular friends and then became her lovers as they all became adults. So there's a lot of smut, but also a lot of the main character being abused for being autistic by her stepmother. 5 stars. And I'm gonna go fairly quickly through the rest of these. First of all, The Kraken Sacrifice by Katie Roberts, and also The Gargoyle's Captive by the same author. This apparently falls in the same series as The Dragon's Bride, which is a very popular book, but the one that I have avoided because I find the cover very off-putting. In my monster romance tastes, I don't like creatures who are very non-humanoid on the top half of their body, which I'll show you the cover. This character is like very much looks like a dragon on the top half. It's just too non-humanoid. Too non-humanoid looking for me. I care less about the bottom half. So, you know, like mermaids, whereas if you switched it and had someone with human legs and a fish top of their body, that wouldn't be as, like, attractive. That's how I feel about it. But yeah, these 2 books both have a larger than you would usually find in a book written by a cis person number of trans side characters, specifically non-binary. Specifically, 2 very important, specifically 2 prominent side characters in The Kraken Sacrifice, and 1 prominent and 1 lesser side character in The Gargoyle's Captive. I'm glad that authors are making it more common and normalized to have non-binary characters just existing in the world, even if the book isn't about a character being non-binary. I especially like The Kraken Sacrifice. I thought it was really sweet. It deals with grief of losing a partner in the past, and both main characters are also bisexual. The FMC feels very unlovable, and it's a lot about making her feel loved, and I really love those themes. The Gargoyle's Captive I liked less. It has some dubious consent in it, and usually that is a big no-no for me. In this case, I thought it was done really well, and overall enjoyed it, but not that much. I gave The Kraken Sacrifice 5 stars, and The Gargoyle's Captive 3 stars. The Demon Next Door by Chase Verity. This is about 112 pages, and it is about a single mom who lives across the way from a single demon dad. And so instead of just a single parent romance, which I enjoy, this is a double single parent romance. So I really enjoyed all those feels, and the human character helping the demon figure out how to live as a human and like how to blend in and stuff. 5 stars. Then Sweet Berries by N.M. Nascosta. It says at the beginning of this book that this is a very sweet and frothy, fluffy romance, and deals with no big issues, and is very soft and no dark content, and that was true. This is about a Mothman, which I also have my reservations about, but the way he's described in the book made him seem very cute and not very bug-like. Like, he has a completely human face and like completely human hands and stuff, so that was good enough for me. This was also very sweet. Demon Next Door was light on the sex scenes. All of these other ones were quite heavy on the sex scenes. Yeah, 5 stars to Sweet Berries. Entranced by the Basilisk is in the same series as Deceived by the Gargoyles, which I read back in last September or so for the Fat Wrap. And this one I like just as much. I felt like there was this is a novel length work, and I feel like there was just as much of a focus on the emotional relationships and the relationships between the men as well as between the woman and each man, because this is polyamorous. And I really liked all the emotions going on. And basilisks are snake on the bottom half, human on the top half, but they also have a fully human form that they use most of the time. That's by Lillian Lark, and I gave it 5 stars. And then The Monstrous Duke and I by D. St. Holm. Apparently this is somewhat based on a book called The Duke and I, which I haven't read, I don't think. But this is a childhood friends to lovers romance, which is another of my favorites. He's also her brother's best friend as well. They were like a little trio hanging out when they were kids, which is so cute. And they meet again after a monstrous curse has ravaged the country and turned a bunch of the people into monsters. And so there's this monstrous ball that people go to try to meet monsters to get married to, because a lot of the monsters are like nobility, so they need to like pass on their lines, and there are various people who want the money and stability of being married to a noble, so that's how this ball works. And this is a series written by different authors. So I didn't like another book in this series that I tried, which was by N.M. Nascosta, which was very not sweet and had like a cheating trope that I didn't like. But then I found this one, and this one was very sweet and a lot about emotions and had very few sex scenes, and was just the sweetness of 2 friends coming back together and reuniting and taking care of each other, which is adorable. So I gave it 5 stars. So those are the books that I read in the second half of April. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to leave an emoji, how about a bee or a flower? And I will see you in the next video. Bye!